Well, it did knock the dust on it, but,
You guys ready? We'll call the Board of County Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, August 1st, 2023 to order. Beth, would you do roll call, please?
Barry,
Here.
Steve,
Here.
Bo,
Here.
David,
Here.
We have a quorum. We'll proceed. Everybody please rise up for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first item is a consent agenda. What are the wishes?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Motion carried. New business. We have Dan Shoup on here with Vector Concerns. I do not believe he's here. So we'll jump over that. Maybe he'll come in before the meeting's over. Let's go to planning and zoning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michelle Haugen, County Planning. Okay, our first item today is LU-21-23, which is Jake Borson, who is requesting a variance for the front and section line setback requirements within the urban residential zoning district. Subject property is Lot 2 of Block 1, Winsong Country Estate Subdivision. At this time, we've not received any public nor comment from Missouri Ridge Township. The applicant is requesting a variance from the setback requirements within the urban residential zoning district for both the front and section lines. Required front setback from property line is 50 feet, and the required setback from the section line or from the center line of the road easement of a designated county, state, or township road is 133 feet. The applicant's variance request is for a reduction for the front setback to 38 feet from the required 50, and from the section lines to 82 feet from 133 feet. This request does not qualify for the county administrative variance process because the setback reductions are larger than what is allowable during that process. The reduction is for building setbacks for proposed detached garage to the west of the present home. Similar variance requests have been approved in the past for various lots within Winsong Country Estates. As a side note, if you look at his property, if you were to follow the current setbacks that are in the ordinance as they are today, the only buildable location on his lot is where his current home sits.
Okay, is the applicant present? Do you have anything to add to that, or is she got it covered? If you want to, please come up to the mic. It's up to you. You don't have to, but
Pretty much got it covered, just like she said, if that, there is nowhere on that lot to build a shop. And then we're crowding that, road with, as much variance as they'll give me down to 38 feet, like she said, and that still leaves me within the 150 feet. The 150 feet actually comes all the way out to the cul-de-sac. So there is no, it's, you can't do anything without it.
gotcha.
And it's well within the other homes down the line. It's something that's been changed, or that those other houses are within as well. So it's not going to stick out or be up on the road or anything. I don't know if you have any other questions.
Perfect. Does anybody have any questions? No. Thank you. I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve following staff comments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, so the second one we have today is LU-24-23, which is Deborah Dallas, who is requesting a zone change to the urban residential zoning district for sublot 4 located in section 5, township 156 north, range 95 west. Subject property is currently within the light industrial zoning district. The applicant is requesting this zone change as part of the building permit process as well. They will be demolishing an existing mobile home and shed that's currently on the subject property. After the demolition is complete, they will be bringing in a new modular home and construct a new shed. The new modular will be utilized as a primary residence. The applicant is currently working with the building division to obtain all necessary demolition and building permits to complete this project contingent on approval of this. For this one, we did receive comment back from Pleasant Valley, and they did also recommend approval.
Okay. Is the applicant present? Do you have anything to add? If you do, please come up to the mic. Introduce yourself for the record and then go ahead.
Deborah Dallas. And I'm just curious why the tax division has us as residential, but planning and zoning is different. Why it's not seamless across the board from the county departments.
I can't speak for the tax division, but I can say for planning and zoning, this used to be owned by another individual and it was rented out by Triangle Electric, so it was being used for industrial purposes, so that's why it was classified and zoned as light industrial.
So maybe there was a change for planning and zoning in the past to get it as light industrial when Triangle was.
Well, I think wouldn't
Quite possibly.
the taxes go according to use, correct? So when it was used, when Triangle was using it, it would have been taxed as light industrial, but when Ward was living there, it would have been residential.
Okay, so just a matter of filing. Once Triangle left, the taxes went to residential, but planning and zoning stayed light industrial. Okay, that's it.
Perfect. Okay, anybody got any other questions? Anybody entertain, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve following staff comments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Roll call.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Department heads, I see we've got Beth on here first. Can tell who
Yes.
did the agenda. Beth's first.
Thank you. I am requesting permission today for two different things. I need to set the city of Williston for this special election voting hours. I would recommend that we have the polling hours from 8 to 7 as normal. And the other thing, I need you to approve the appointments of the City of Williston special election inspectors. We're using Lois Ryerson and Claire Fulvag, who we always use.
You want that in one motion or two?
I think you can do it in one.
Okay. So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carried. Let's see here. Building services.
Morning, Commissioners. You can see the proposal in front of you today. It's to replace a 40-ton rooftop at Social Services. It's an existing rooftop that's been there for 20-plus years. Starting to have some issues, and it's time to put something new on the roof. I don't know why it wasn't replaced when all the remodels. I'm guessing it was the expense of the unit. But there is money in the 118 fund. I've talked to Christie, get that replaced. The goal would be to either get it hopefully in this fall and get it replaced in the changeover time, because we'll have that building shut down, no air, no AC, no heat for about 2 days. Or in the spring during the changeover.
So is that, what's the electrical gonna cost on that? Because I see that's not included in the bid.
I figure for electrical and controls, it'd be about 10,000 max. Shouldn't be that big. All they have to do is pull the wire out of the unit and then reconnect it to the new one. The units should be like for the most part. So all they have to do is pick the old one up, put a roof curb on, an adapter, and then set the new one down.
Okay, any other questions? What are the wishes?
I'd make a motion to approve the bid for $127,000 and with a little luck that they can plug and unplug for less than $10,000.
I would think that they'd be able to. The controls, and I mean, it shouldn't be that big.
Is there a
That was
second?
sarcasm, sorry.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? No.
Sorry.
No problem. Just, I'm trying to follow the rules. Hearing none, roll call, please.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Motion carried.
And just an update, we started access control yesterday, and Evaluations Northwest also started yesterday, so we're getting those two projects knocked out.
Great. Thank you, Keith.
Have a good day.
Community Engagement Coordinator.
Good morning. We have a couple things for you today. The first being the agreement for the child care project. You previously had approved up to $1.4 million as needed for the Williston Area Economic Development Group to continue with the child care project in the Creighton Building at Williston State College. So this is the agreement to be able to provide those funds. The agreement is written as a direct bill pay, and so the Economic Development Group would provide us with the bill, their approval of that bill, and then we would pay it directly to the vendor. The invoices are required to be submitted by the end of the year, and with regards to any sort of reporting requirement, there is built in here project updates that would need to be sent to us that would be passed along to you. Any questions about the agreement?
So you're just looking for a motion to approve the agreement and authorize the chairman to sign?
Correct, yes.
I'll make that a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, the next item is our matching grant award recommendations. So the matching grant award program was new this year, and applications are accepted on a rolling basis. The intention of the program is that an organization has applied to a different grant program, and they need to provide a match for that, and so then these funds could help assist with that match portion. For this year, $200,000 was allocated for the program as a whole. And with applications being accepted on a rolling basis, the funds are just awarded until the pot runs dry. It just so happens that the first three applications we received all came in at the same cycle. These are initially reviewed by the Finance Committee, and then the Finance Committee creates the recommendation. And that's what you have here today. So the three applications were Buckshot Seeds, which is seeking a match for their APUC grant program match requirement, which is the North Dakota Ag Products Utilization Commission grant program. They are seeking to conduct a feasibility study in the Mondack region to best position, construct, and operate a soybean and canola crushing facility. They actually, prior to this meeting, were notified that they were awarded this grant. And so they would need that, they're still working on raising that match amount. The second one is the Connect Us Therapy. This is a grant program by way of the fact that the dollars are a grant, but it's technically the North Dakota Healthcare Professional Loan Repayment Program. They've hired a third mental health nurse practitioner that would serve both Tioga and Williston. And this loan repayment program helps with those recruitment and retention costs. And the nurse has already been accepted into this program. And then the third is Save Red Mike, which is the Links of North Dakota. They are applying for the Destination Development Grant Program that has come out of the state legislature for emphasis on tourism infrastructure. And their match dollars, they're required to gather that up during their application process. And those applications aren't due until the end of this month, so they're still in the application process. So the total request between those three is $122,000, so there would be $78,000 remaining for the year if you were to award these all fully. Or not, or pick them, up to you. But the recommendation from the Finance Committee was to award them as either as requested, as in the case of Buckshot and Connect Us Therapy, and then for the amount, the maximum amount per award is $100,000, and that's what that amount was for Save Red Mike. Any questions on these?
I see on there that the Red Mike requested 635,000. Do we give them the money after they raise the 635, or if they end up short, do they pay the money back?
So the total match requirement for them is $2 million because they're requesting $4 million from the grant program. So they requested from this program $635,000, but there's only $200,000 in the program. $100,000 is the max. So we would hold on to this in an accounting world, but none of these funds would be expended until they actually received the grant and then had to pay out their match.
Okay.
So we would yeah. Does that make sense?
As poor as I asked the question, you answered it very well, because it made sense now. Thank you. Is there any other questions? What are the wishes?
I'd make a motion to award the amount recommended by the Finance Committee.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Do you need more information?
Well, so in terms of trying to think of efficiency with the contract portion of it, which can be slow for both me and for them sometimes, there are basic terms of the programs. And so if you wanted to add in to authorize a chairman to sign contracts with basic terms, and if there was anything without basic terms, I would bring that back.
I would add those recommendations by Lindsay.
It's a learning experience.
Okay, amended, and it's okay with the motion and the second. So now, are there any other questions? No? Roll call, please.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so then the next one is our tourism grant recommendations. These actually weren't going to come to you until August the 15th, but the review committee was able to accomplish all of this in one meeting. So again, for efficiency's sake, we're just bringing these to you today. This was the second cycle. This is our second year of doing these, but the first time we ever tried 2 cycles. And so earlier this year, we had awarded another one. So then all of these awards require a 20% match. So then the amount recommended is that 80% piece. And there was $25,000 to award for capital grants and $10,000 to award for event and advertising, with an additional $1,000 that was not awarded from cycle 1. And so really the review committee was able to find a way to help fund all of the applications. So folks weren't necessarily received all of the funds that they had requested, but there was some flexibility depending on what they were actually looking for money for funding, etc. Any questions on these?
Anybody any questions?
This is also the first time ever we received more event and advertising grants than we did capital. So the tables have turned, which is good.
Okay, what are the wishes?
Make a motion to approve the tourism grant recommendations
And authorize.
Is there a second?
and authorize the chairman to sign.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey?
Yes. Motion carried.
Okay, and the last item, it comes from our economic development arm. Commissioner Kemp and myself and Kenley Nebecker, who is in the audience from Train ND, who will come up and speak as well, have been talking with this company called Vertipads over about the past year. They bring in drone infrastructure. So we've heard a lot about beyond visual line of sight, UAS infrastructure that's being put in across the state, and some work in that realm. This company called Vertipads has received an APUC grant, which again is this ag grant to be able to explore agricultural applications within the drone and UAS world, and they bring the infrastructure piece. And so they are looking to work with Train ND in a variety of different capacities, which Kenley will talk about, but ultimately seeking here, this is a funding request that would help signify a partnership with Train ND to help move forward with developing this infrastructure with us as a county. We've had interest from our various boards and staff for agricultural and drone purposes, and being able to help build those pieces out. So the funding request is for $75,000 for Train ND to help support this infrastructure build out. And I'll let Kenley come and talk about details. Here's your application.
Chair Hansen, Commissioners, Kenley Nebeker for the record, Train ND Executive Director. As far as the Vertipads project goes, we're excited about this, ultimately creating through this partnership and a partnership with the City of Williston as well and the Star Fund, 2 locations here in the Williston region in Williams County for us to begin exploring what it looks like to do package delivery, for us to explore doing what it looks like to have emergency response capabilities, and on the ag side to start exploring what it looks like to do weed identification, as well as have eventually have a base location that's completely automated for drone spraying, for spraying using drones, and that refill, charge, all of that process being completely automated on eventually. Vertipads, in our efforts with Vertipads, I appreciate what they're trying to do. They're trying to create a location for drones to go, to whether it be to deliver, whether it be to be charged, whether it be to have extended communication abilities. And they're thinking of it in a way that really nobody else that we've seen is thinking about it. From both a OEM agnostic standpoint, meaning that they want any drone that's out there to be able to be capable to be charged and to be switched out to fit those needs, as well as thinking about the infrastructure as a lined infrastructure, meaning the ability to scale it up to meet the needs of whatever community they're serving. I think this 2 Vertipad approach is a great way to kind of dip our toes in the water and see how the community and how the county as a whole reacts and makes use of it, and then see where things go from there. From that statement, I'll open for questions.
Does anybody have any questions?
I'll just a comment. We've been meeting with them for some time, and I think really getting Kenley and Train ND involved in this is a critical component to helping this be successful. So really appreciate all of Kenley's efforts and excited to support this. And yep.
Barry, we can't hear you.
I was just curious if this was something that could be, down the road is going to be used for the vector for, I would think, right? Or
yes, very much so. Hopefully.
So in your packet is an executive summary about the company, and then there was an article kind of too about their APUC grant and some of the things that they've done. So the actual Vertipad landing jump in here if I'm wrong. The actual Vertipad things, the actual pad is like a shipping container that's agnostic of anything that you could have in it. So you could simultaneously use the same pad for both weed and vector. If you need to stage chemical, if you need to put it, if you need to have your equipment there, if you have one service provider for a variety of things. So really that's kind of been part of this. It's like a tender balance between build it and they will come and know exactly what you're doing. And so really this use case part of it, we've been working through a little bit, but then really they need to kind of close the gap also on a manufacturing element of things to be able to get these things built prior to the end of the year, just so, because winter is an inhibitor for everybody. We can't get around yet. Maybe there's a Vertipad for that, but yeah, these essentially are use agnostic. It just then is building that use case and then getting folks to be able to accept the concept for doing it. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think to make sure we're being clear, the different use cases still being developed, right, from an automated standpoint. So from a physical standpoint, we can build that infrastructure very quickly within the Vertipads and have that manned and trained a person to be able to handle all of that infrastructure. To move towards the automated aspect of it, that's going to still take a little bit of time, but that is the eventual goal, is to make these completely automated and able to run on their own without much supervision. I also failed to mention the training aspect of this as well, which is really why Train ND Northwest is mostly interested in this, besides our love of drones. And so we would have the opportunity to build here in at Train ND Northwest the training program for the whole world of people manning these Vertipads. As these Vertipads begin to grow, then we would have that training opportunity to train anybody that ends up being a manager of that in this interim of waiting for that automation technology to kind of catch up. So,
Has any construction started? Nothing. So what kind of time frame are you looking at?
We'd probably have to get specific from Vertipads, but I wouldn't see why we couldn't have something up and going by next spring, next summer, somewhere in there.
Because they literally just have to be manufactured and then they have to secure the site. Because it's essentially like a shipping container that is portable and movable. And then in terms of a site, I think they're looking at the one here in Williston at your UAS park, maybe perhaps, and then really the dollar part of it, and the fact that like we become a stakeholder in this project of positioning of the second one. But the actual manufacturing, as soon as they can get the funds to build two of them, they can start the manufacturing. And I believe most of it is actually manufactured here in North Dakota. So that would start, the manufacturing part would start as soon as possible, then they just have to solidify the location piece of it. And so the intention of this is that if you do decide to award funds, it would come from the development funds within the community engagement budget. And then we really would be a partner and a stakeholder in the project as a whole. So we will be a part of this.
One last comment from me, and then I think the easiest way to think about these is like a gas station with a convenience store. So basically and that's something that really, until they showed up, nobody had talked about, is how to, everybody talks about all these drones delivering packages and whatnot, but somewhere, somehow, these drones have to interact and get recharged, and what their grand plan is to have one of these every so many miles. And so that there would be a convenience recharge location every so many miles throughout the state of North Dakota and then throughout the world, really, for that matter. So similar to a gas station. So.
Terminate.
Yes.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions, comments? If not, what are the wishes?
I'd make a motion to support the grant to Kinley for $75,000, or to Train ND, sorry, for $75,000, and authorize the chairman to sign.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christie, you're up.
Good morning. This seems really close. Back in May, our departments started working on the 2024 budget. They started putting in numbers, making requests, meeting with finance. A couple weeks ago, we had budget hearings with yourselves. And today I'm presenting the package of the culmination of all those efforts in the 2024 preliminary budget. Also has the proposed levies that we would use on the August 31st estimated tax statements. So I'm presenting that today for your approval. And I also need you to confirm the hearing for the 2024 budget, for the county budget. That was proposed at hearings to be September 19th at 8 a.m. in this room. Do you have questions?
Anybody have any questions, comments? I guess I just have one comment, and to Christie, your department, for putting this all together, and the budget hearings I thought went very well. So I just want to say thank you and nice job. It's a lot of numbers to wrap your head around. So thank you for helping me wrap my head around it.
Well, thank you. We love numbers, so.
Well, it's not, it's as close as it can get, but yes, it was very helpful, so thank you. Any other comments, questions? If not, what are the wishes?
I'd make a motion to approve the preliminary budget, the 2024 preliminary budget, and for the public hearing to be held September 19th, 2023 at 8 a.m.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Barry did. Okay, Helen, you're up.
Good morning. In your packet is a position report that doesn't show any positions to be filled, but since I submitted that, we do have an opening in the corrections department. So I'd like permission to fill one corrections officer position, please.
Mr. Chairman?
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Motion carried.
As you all know, we have a regional, county-wide dispatch center entitled or named the Upper Missouri River Regional Dispatch Center, UMRDC, which we have jointly operated with the city of Williston for a number of years. It's been an evolution from, way back it was one person answering the phone at the old law enforcement center all the way up to now state-of-the-art facility and a number of highly trained dispatchers working to support our law enforcement and our community. We have been working over the course of time, and I've had a lot of conversations with folks at the city, and then as we talked about at budget hearings, as we created the budget for UMRDC within our own general fund, it is the intention, I believe, of this board to take over operation of UMRDC, to make that a department of Williams County, provide that service to all agencies within the county, including the city of Williston, and to relieve the city of their fiscal responsibility for that agency. So I do need a motion from you today, although we've had a little bit of conversation and we're doing some work to prepare to do that change effective September 1st. I need a motion from this board today to make the change. I'd like that motion to include some discussion about renaming the agency. We all love this long name, Just kidding, we don't. And so it would be renamed the Williams County Dispatch Center. I would like permission within this grant to have the chairman sign some documents over the course of the next several weeks. There are some agreements between the city and the county that need to be dissolved in order to just fully transition this agency to be a county agency. And Karen is working on those, but we don't have them ready. But some of them are going to be, there might be some iterations in getting this work done. And so to wait until August 15th at our next meeting, it could just slow us down, and we are trying to make the transition smooth. I'll have some meetings with staff this week. This is primarily an administrative change, as we know. Who pays the bills and how are the employees designated in terms of an employer of record? The work of the agency, the day-to-day operations, the role of the director, how it's run, really all of that stays the same. So I need a motion for us to accept the agency into our organization, for the name change, and for the chairman to have the ability to sign agreements as our attorney has approved them.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the UMRRC DC transfer to Williams County Dispatch Center and authorize the chairman to sign all necessary documents that come up after approval from state's attorney and county administrator.
Is there a second? You just said it.
Yep.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
I would
Motion carried.
Oh, sorry. I would like to have a portfolio commissioner assigned as well, just so that the director, as we move them into the countywide organization, we have the same structure in place there. Would make sense to me that it's either Commissioner Ramberg or Commissioner Hansen, because they have been serving on the board that works with UMRDC. Might be a little. Okay, looks like Commissioner Hansen just volunteered.
I was going to say I'll voluntold him.
There we go.
I could sense the beams from his eyes coming in. Yes, I would be happy to do it. I've been with this one since we started it, so if you guys are willing to do that, I would take it.
So I think I need a motion for that.
I would make that motion, yes.
Thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey?
Yes. Motion carried.
That's all I have, unless you have anything for me.
No, nothing?
Thank you.
Okay, that will conclude our meeting.
Do you want me to come up there?